Welcome to 5 Topics, 5 Minutes. This week, we'll be discussing what happened between October 31st and November 6th of 2021. This week, we'll be discussing US mayoral and gubernatorial elections, the United Nations Climate Change Conference, also known as COP26, global developments in the fight against the pandemic, the House's approval of a $1 trillion infrastructure bill, and US China relations in the G20 summit. Our first topic relates to the recent mayoral and gubernatorial elections throughout the United States. Eric Adams was elected mayor of New York City, Michelle Wu elected mayor of Boston, Phil Murphy elected as the governor of New Jersey, and Glenn Youngkin elected governor of Virginia. The elections of Eric Adams as New York City's second black mayor and Michelle Wu as Boston's first female and person of color mayor have been hailed as markers of increased diversification of elected officials throughout the United States. The close election of Democratic Governor Phil Murphy in New Jersey and Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin in Virginia represent a win for the GOP, given that New Jersey has normally been a reliably blue state, while Virginia's Democratic Governor Ralph Northam was defeated. The second event that we'll be discussing today are key developments in COP26. Nature magazine outlines these developments in 4 main points. Firstly, the Global Methane Pledge is a US and European Union led initiative which aims to cut methane emissions by 30% by the year 2030. This move is thought by scientists to be able to eliminate 0.2 degrees Celsius of warming by 2050. Secondly, Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India announced a goal to achieve net zero emissions in India by 2070, though whether this is in CO2 emissions or general greenhouse gas emissions is unclear as of yet. Thirdly, $130 trillion of investments have been pledged for organizations committed to net zero emissions by 2050 by more than 450 organizations in the financial sector hailing from 45 countries. Finally, more than 130 countries have dedicated themselves to reversing forest loss and land degradation by the year 2030. These signatories, including the DR of Congo, Brazil, and Indonesia, house 90% of the world's forests. Our third topic relates to the recent slew of developments worldwide in the fight against COVID-19. Firstly, the Biden administration mandated COVID vaccines for large businesses defined as having more than 100 employees in a move that is expected to cover 84 million workers. Secondly, the Merck pill that we discussed last week was authorized in the UK for use. Finally, Pfizer came up with a new pill called Paxlovid that makes an 89% cut in hospitalizations and deaths for people with mild to moderate COVID symptoms. Paxlovid works as a protease inhibitor similar to that found in HIV drugs. A protease inhibitor essentially blocks protease, an enzyme essential for cutting polypeptides into necessary sizes for making virus components in the form of proteins. The takeaway from this is that the coronavirus cannot make the components it needs due to Paxlovid. Our fourth topic is the US House of Representatives' recent approval of a $1 trillion infrastructure bill in a 228 to 206 majority vote. The bill was approved by senators this past August and includes, quote, about $550 billion above projected federal spending on roads, bridges, expanded broadband access, and more. It funds public transportation and a, quote, $66 billion investment in rail maintenance, most of which will go to Amtrak. The bill is one of 2 large bills that President Biden has attempted to pass, with the second bill being the Build Back Better Act, President Biden's signature social safety net and climate change bill. The second bill, which stands at $1.75 trillion, has been planned to be voted on in the week of November 15th, but will then need to be again reviewed in the Senate. Our last topic involves the G20 summit this past weekend in Rome. Secretary of State Anthony J. Blinken and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met together, setting the stage for a quote virtual meeting being planned between President Biden and China's leader Xi Jinping on US-China relations. The two leaders have agreed to hold the meeting before the end of the year, but the officials said that no date or agenda had been set according to the New York Times. These talks come at a time of friction between the US and China, from conflicts ranging from the sovereignty of Taiwan to China's presence in what it calls the South China Sea, to the US's accusation of China not fulfilling its role in purchase commitments by more than 30% between the two countries, a conflict outlined by US Trade Representative Catherine Tai. Thank you for watching 5 Topics, 5 Minutes. Please have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend.